Hello, everyone. Welcome to Next Big Future. Some big news today is that XAI has revealed Grok 3. They haven't released it, but we have now seen it in operation.
Oh,
I have my friend Randy Kirk here to discuss implications of what this means. So, um, they gave it a prompt, write a Python script for a bouncing yellow ball within a square, make sure that it has collisions detection properly, make the square slowly rotate, implement it in Python, make sure the ball stays within the square. And then there's a little video, I don't have the GIF of it, but basically it
okay.
has the ball bouncing around within the square as the thing
Doing it what it's
rotates.
supposed to do. Okay.
Right. So what does that mean? It means it can model physics, right? It can write code, right? Um, so and then they also then had handle tesseracts. So like a 3D, 4D type structure with a ball
Okay.
bouncing around in between that kind of structure. So one, it can handle higher dimensions, and it can handle that. So then, um, Life Architect is a Dr. Alan Thompson tracks AI very closely. His estimate is that Grok 3 is coming out in February here. So that's 2 weeks from now. Everyone else knows that. So that was 6 months between Grok 2. So then he would estimate that maybe be 6 months or so to get to Grok 4, which
Okay.
would be around August. I think, and then the Grok 5 would be another 6 months. So maybe early 2026, you'd have the Grok 5 and they have a Grok 6 also in 2026, but two models a month. I have had analysis that you could have more models,
Right.
because they're building the data center so fast. So I'm saying like January 31st or first week of February. We're in so close that they've already made announcements about that. That's for Grok 3.
Right.
I'm thinking they could do a May,
Wow.
4 month release of Grok 4 if you trained up 150 days and paid three times more training for
Right.
the 200,000 H100, H200s,
Right.
and then a Grok 4.5 in September.
Hmm.
That would be some of the B200s first, or maybe, that other one, the Grok 3.5, this one's Grok 4, right? So then the Grok 4 would then align if we change Grok 4, my Grok 4 to Grok 3.5.
Mhm.
Um, and then, so it's just a naming convention. Then another
Sure.
model
Sure.
in February of next year, and another model December next year. Um, so they continue to build up. So it's a question of, two or three this year. But other thing is that I'm expecting more point releases. There was the DeepSeek China AI model, open source, that has the O1 reasoning capability of the OpenAI models.
Right.
So that is only 4 months behind. So if there's any deficiency in reasoning, but I expect, based on the fact that it can handle, the complex physics of not complex physics, but physics modeling, that they also have reasoning handled as well, reasoning and coding
Oh,
for
you think this will be in Grok 3?
I think should be in Grok 3.
Okay.
That if the Chinese team at DeepSeek could do it, I think that pretty much everyone
I
has
got
it.
it.
I'd be surprised if they didn't have it.
Right.
Because they also Google has a deep research reasoning model.
Right.
Um, Life Architect also was estimating that um, Grok 3 should surpass human in this uh, MMLU, massive multitasking language understanding benchmark. But this benchmark is what they call saturated, in that everyone's getting almost perfect beyond human level with it. So it's kind of like not a good
I see.
measure
I see.
anymore. The point being, though, it'd be one slightly below human, one above human, is the point of this
Okay.
chart.
All
And
right.
the test ceiling is at 91%. So basically, you max out
I
on it.
see.
Yeah. So that's basically it in terms of what we know about it. So
That was what they revealed. They revealed that it had that capability. They
yeah.
revealed that is close to release. They didn't give a date yet of the release. You're just assuming we're weeks away.
Well, there was a post from Elon a week ago saying, what did they say, 2 to 3 weeks or 3 to 4 weeks? I forget. But basically, based on Elon saying that we're within, a couple weeks of the release.
Right. I hope it's not,
But then
I
how
hope it's
fast do
not
they roll it
Elon.
out?
I hope it's not Elon 2 weeks,
Right, it's not Elon 2 weeks. That's right. Yeah. And then the question then becomes how fast they roll out. I presume they would right away put it into X. So that's how you currently access Grok 2 is via your the old Twitter access on premium. Although I think they made Grok 2 for free for everyone. So you didn't have to
Yes.
have premium access. Um, and so they would have that there and then in, merging it in with Tesla. So they've been posts from Elon that they would put Grok 3 into Tesla cars to understand spoken instructions and stuff. Have you heard of any other things about that?
No, but I think everybody, quite frankly, I thought I was maybe alone in this, but the more I talk to people, the more I think that what everybody's really waiting for and what we already are seeing in some of the other companies is this kind of conversational language capability both directions.
Mhm.
This seems to be more important to the average, even to the average, when I say average, to the interested people, the people that are paying attention seem to
Yeah,
care more about this ability to have a normal conversation in, verbally, and with Grok than they do about whether it's IQ 140 or IQ 160 or, you know,
right.
and whether it can do physics or, they want to be able to just have a conversation. I talked to somebody yesterday that was talking about, having done a 2 hour psych session,
Mhm.
you know,
Right.
with the bot, I mean with the I think it was OpenAI,
Yeah,
and spending 2 hours laying out their heart and getting answers back in terms of what they should do in the situation.
right. So in the Grok models, they had Grok 1.5 vision that had ability to do a lot of things with video and with pictures and that kind of stuff. And Grok 2 has image generation that's quite good. So that's the multimodal, not just text,
Right.
but pictures. So they should have the sound thing. You would think that they would get that sorted out. Because I think they also needed the sound understanding for FSD, right? That
Yeah.
FSD had to be able to hear sirens
Iron.
and do other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but their video capability is stronger, than other models because of all the data from um,
Yeah.
FSD,
See,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so their weakness is not being as good on speech as
Right.
other companies.
Right.
I would expect that to be included this one or in a update before any other major release. I don't think anything past the first quarter,
Well,
you know,
I don't think you can really do the cyber cab right without it. You know what I'm talking
right?
about? Just
Yeah,
really, you know, yeah.
right. So then because they've also said that they would have safer than human driving on FSD in Q2, which
Hmm.
could be sort of April,
Hmm.
then you would want to have a Grok that has really, really world-class voice understanding
Right.
to integrate that with the system. That should be a priority, I would think.
What a year.
Yeah, yeah,
It seems almost impossible that we're talking about, robots and self-driving cars and all this is coming in one 12-month period, along with the Trump administration on top of it.
yeah. In terms of the understanding physics part and getting
Yeah.
that right,
Yeah.
I think that would be important for um, Tesla bot and for FSD.
Yeah.
That if you have a Grok that has, um, the whole real world AI aspect of it,
Yeah.
that if it has, but I think that goes with video and voice and sound, right? That you need to interface with the real world. I think that would be the strength beyond whatever superior intelligence might come from the language, the amount of compute, seeing how well that's scaled. Um, I think the data strength of Tesla and XAI is um, more video, more real world video, more sound. There should be more sound, real world sound that they should have to train the system on. So they should be better. It shouldn't be that they're weaker than the others on speech. They should be
Right.
stronger.
Stronger.
Yeah.
So we saw the bot, the Optimus bot, walking down that hillside, and we've now seen other bots doing similar kinds of very good walking, running, handling various kinds of terrains. The dog that's out there, the wheeled dog, doing all kinds of tricks. I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah.
And so that seems those kinds of learnings, not only the learning about just walking on that kind of terrain, but the learning, being able to adapt to any kind of terrain, it would seem like that those kinds of things are harder than learning how to use a drill to put in a screw. I don't know. Am I wrong about that?
Well, a drill to screw, if you have a hand, you could have some kind of like tool that could more easily adjust to it, like that kind of um, power drill type thing
Right.
would be, easy to handle. I just have the thing and I just,
I'm just talking about we've seen the various bots folding clothes, we've seen them cooking food. I mean, we've done all these different, so people that are concerned that the bot will not be useful, there's still people out there that think that the
yeah,
bot cannot do useful tasks. It seems, I'm trying to compare, like, it's not necessarily well, it's kind of a useful task to be able to walk in any terrain, kind of
right.
a useful task to be able to get your balance back if you're trying to come down a steep slope and better than a human probably,
Mhm.
depending on the age. Anyway, but you've got those capabilities seem a little more sophisticated than most jobs, most, kind of you know, uh, welding a seam or putting two things together and putting a screw in a bolt and, I mean, a nut in a bolt and
It may be more complicated, but I think it's less useful. That
yeah, yeah,
basically, you know, how well you have your hands
yeah,
and the movement is just, I just need to get to where I can use my hands and my brain,
yeah,
right? Hands, brains, and eyes is pretty much everything you need to do for
right,
the task,
right,
right? If the fact that I can only, you know, stand on a Segway, roll to where need to be because I'm in a factory, you know, all kinds of use cases and money generation are there,
yeah,
right? The fact that, it can't walk beside me, not the end of the world, particularly if it's light enough, I could just kind of like, grab a hook and carry it, like, Chewbacca carrying C-3PO through the Cloud City kind of thing. It's just like it's
yeah,
not the showstopper, which is why um, um, Sanctuary AI, Canadian company, focused only on hands and didn't bother with the walking because it was kind of like it's not a big deal. Like Honda Isamo robot has been walking for forever, and it's not that useful, right? It walks, can do stuff, but it's like you need to have the hands, you need to do the work, you need the brain. So,
Okay, so Grok 3, what is there anything else you're hoping that it does on this iteration that it wasn't doing on the last iteration?
well, I would be disappointed if it's not substantially better than the other foundation models. Like if it doesn't, shoot to the top of the rankings against, the Google, deep research model and against the OpenAI model. Um, at least against the O1. Like the O3 model was doing, loads of compute to get its answer. So that, literally using 30,000 GPUs, a data center for an hour to come up with some answers. So like um that test time compute thing is less of a factor, but that the superior based on the training
Yeah,
because it's 100,000 chips. My analysis was that um, and the promise from Gavin Baker, who owns some of XAI, a guy who has $4 billion to invest in his fund. He said all in podcast that it should be the step up. So
mhm.
I have higher expectations,
Okay,
right? I want to see more. That they should shoot to the top because they have more chips. If they don't have that, then that's kind of um, make a question about what's going on with scaling if you're
right.
not able to get more out of the compute side. Um,
So Grok and XAI still get even among the fans, even among you know the All In podcast, BG2, these different things, and the fan club for Elon Musk, XAI gets the last mention. They'll talk about
mhm.
all the other ones, and then they'll say, "Oh, and then there's XAI. It's coming along, and it might." Um, is that just a matter of the other ones are uh, so consumer facing at this point, and really just need more consumer facing capabilities, and then maybe it'll pop to the top?
Yeah, one just needs to be clearly better, right? So I think it was clearly better in terms of the how up to date it was, because it was tapping into all the X posts and stuff like that, so you get, really current information into it, and the others couldn't. Um, but in terms of like straight up better on reasoning, straight up better on um, usefulness,
Right.
um, it was competitive, but it wasn't
Better.
clearly superior. It didn't have as much the bias problems, right? Some of
Right,
the training
right,
things that
right,
the others
right,
did.
right.
But to be clearly better, then it would, you know, it kind of got close with the last one. It needs to exceed clearly certain aspects that
Mhm.
the others have. Um, that would be good. I could see how, like I said, if you include the test time training thing where you're, you know, doing that much extra compute, you
Right,
you get an extra 20% or 30%, something like that. So, but for the pre-training part
right.
and post-training, I would think that with more compute, they should be clearly superior. And that's what some other people have said. Um, so again, it's a data point to find out how much we get there.
So interesting. So
Okay.
we'll see in a couple of weeks,
But
but
also I want to see, like how useful it's going to be for Tesla cars and Tesla bots, that
yeah,
that it becomes the brain for that. So, if it's not as useful for certain, writing a book or doing something like that, they should be doing it on the controlling of the robots,
right,
the real world AI part of it. Like they should be focused on the video and the understanding of that, because that actually directly relates to how they can make more money. Because the other thing is that the other guys don't have a moat around the other thing. They get a little better ahead on O3 model and something like that. They just lost, 98% of their revenue
right,
because people will buy DeepSeek,
right,
right?
right,
So in terms of like actual money generation, no matter how good you get at that part, you're not going to make money for very long before the other guys catch up,
right,
right? So then the money making is actually on robotaxi and Tesla, as we know,
right,
right?
right.
So having the AI from XAI support that revenue generation, which you talked about, is like talk to it very well, handle pictures, and stuff that are real world related cases, which
Exactly.
would then help Tesla.
Yeah, I think ultimately the Twitter, or well, I'm sorry, the X, content becomes a big, big benefit because really nobody else there. That's a moat. I mean, that's a moat and a
Right.
half. So I mean, the embodied. Everybody talks about that. Everybody talks. I mean, pretty much all the people that are paying attention realize and recognize that the embodied aspect of what XAI and Tesla are doing as a team is monumentally different than what anybody else is doing. And even Jensen, I mean, now is trying to play his own catch-up game by creating, some of the layers of that for other companies. But when I use Grok now, I'm starting to get good on-time information that I can use in these programs. Um,
Right.
you know, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, it wasn't that great. Now
Yeah.
it's really starting to give me useful stuff. I mean, I'm using it in programs. I'm using it to post on X.
Right. And to make thumbnails and stuff. So the content generation side, 'cause I think X just announced that they're going to have a dedicated video
Yeah,
um,
it's already there.
streams.
It's already
Right,
there.
right,
Yeah,
right. So content creation of videos, thumbnails, pictures.
right,
We already have thumbnails, but for full video, that would be a huge thing because, and again, it would go directly to money generation. So I would see them focused on things, test the bots, and then also X content generation. If they can make X content better, because that's where they're monetizing through,
yeah,
right? Then, like if I can uh, up level my tweet threads,
right,
right?
right,
Or do more things with my video generation, clipping things together. That helps them to have content creators. They can make more money, better product.
right.
So, you know, XAI X should be, working using XAI to facilitate that work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it seems like, the master is running way ahead of the rest of the crowd with regard to the part that really matters. Not to say that Microsoft and OpenAI and all these other guys won't have eventually products that are extremely valuable. I'm sure they all have their own roadmap to making money. I guess a lot of it's going to be in this agent world. And that's I'm looking forward to the agent world too. I want the agent to go out and read all the articles that I'm reading now and just come back and
Right.
tell me the good ones.
Well, that goes to what the DeepSeek stuff did, where
Yeah,
they distilled the models and made them a lot smaller and more efficient, right?
yeah,
So they took something and down to like 1.5 billion parameters. It can run on your phone.
yeah,
It can so they can I expect XAI to do the same thing, where they could then put the really small compact intelligences into little devices. So like, having a little Grok 3 Super Mini or Grok Micro inside something controlling parts of your car, right?
yeah, yeah.
So that kind of capability, I think, is there that in terms of the agents doing stuff for you,
Right,
that you'll have the big super AI, but then
right,
you'll have a million tiny AIs that do, little intelligence everywhere kind of
right,
thing,
right, right,
and more capable. So I think that again, something from DeepSeek is showing that that's going to happen. If not this go around, by the one they've released before the end of the year, the Grok 4 or whatever, or a point release in between, that all the other guys will come up with that. That will have these very capable agents because the small models, the distilled models, are so capable.
right.
Yeah, and tiny and efficient, less energy, less compute, all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So the usefulness and the value is there will be there for AI, and if not this go round, it will be within months of the next time. So by April, I predict we'll have it. Okay, so I think nothing else about Grok 3. So we'll have to see what it looks like and then have another video in hopefully 2 weeks when we see it and can use it.
All right. Cool.
Okay, great. Talk later. Thank you.